It's sometime between, I don't know, 12:30, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Eastern Standard Time. I'm near Columbus. No, Charlotte, North Carolina. Close, south of that. At this rest stop. I've actually, I think, stayed the night here before. It's amazing how familiar rest stops, rest areas, truck stops become familiar after a while. So there's my load. It's a little bit different than usual. It is lumber, but it's actually just the veneers. So this is what plywood looks like under a tarp before it becomes plywood. The reason I say this, you may notice that the top edges are kind of rolled over because it's just these. Well, on this side there's 8 stacks of this, just stacks of veneer, and really loose and not exactly what I would say stacked 100% straight on edge. You know, it's just kind of seems like they just kind of randomly stack this stuff. So in places you may actually see edges of this veneer kind of touching the tarp, being squished by the tarp. So apparently that's not necessarily an issue. It's anyway, this is what is going to be turned into plywood. But so far it's been a great load. It's, of course I'm hitting hills and it's crushing my fuel mileage, but I guess the interesting thing will be when I get to my destination tomorrow, what I'll get next. So this is some kind of larger than normal, I don't know, fancier.
Continue on this road for 10 miles.
And sorry, trying to secondary plan. So this will show what I've got left to do. I'm trying to hold the phone so the glare is minimal as possible.
Continue on this road for 10 miles.
So it says I have 5 hours and 47 minutes to get there. Well, I'm kind of ahead of schedule. I've got 5 hours and 10 minutes left to drive today, and I'm only 5 hours and 47 minutes until I get there. And my plan wasn't to get there right away because it doesn't have a scheduled. It has a scheduled delivery appointment of 10 o'clock in the afternoon tomorrow. So that means, wow, I'm gonna have like close to 650 mile day today in driving. So that's like, you know, $320 of pay in one day as far as mileage is concerned. And let's see, we'll see what we got left to go through. So I started out way south in Georgia, drove quickly through Columbia, or through South Carolina, and just hitting North Carolina. So I will be finding a parking spot somewhere, I think, in West Virginia. And in case I haven't mentioned it before, this area right here, this little, see if I can get something bigger than my fat finger. If you haven't been to this area of the country, this is like of the places I would consider living in this part of the world, this is like the secret spot that I would consider, especially on this West Virginia side. There are some, what highway is it? I can't remember. But every time I drive down it, I'm like, you know what? I should buy a place right here on the side of this bluff. But yeah, anyway, that's one of those nice areas. Another nice area is like just about the entire state of Tennessee. Probably eastern North Carolina, because I've spent a lot of time in western North Carolina. I spent time in eastern North Carolina. They have, what I can say about Georgia, there's a lot of long needle pine trees here. And those are Of the pine trees, which I am a fan of, evergreen trees, the long needle pine is probably my least favorite pine tree. So that totally writes off the option of staying in Atlanta. Not to mention the 180 million degree temperatures. So, and then once you go farther south, I mean, if I can own oceanfront property with a house on it without going broke, I can probably live in Florida. We'll just skip across all this garbage right here, because I used to live here in Shreveport, Louisiana for some time, thanks to the Air Force, and that pretty much rode off. And I've actually been to New Orleans. That place is a toilet bowl. Sorry if you live there, but it gets very humid along this area. Just, you know, I'm not a fan of humidity. But if it was oceanfront, you know, where I can wear my shorts and my Hawaiian shirt all the time, I might be able to put up with it. But yeah, so as far as good areas to live, you know, you take this. You got the Cascade Mountain Range here in Washington, and even you know, Oregon, and then you go west where the non-rain shadow side is, because this part east of the mountain range is what they call a rain shadow. So what happens when you shadow the rain? It's very dry and looks like an ashtray, and that's what this area. This is what I call the ashtray of the Pacific Northwest. And I've driven through it, and I regretted it. But everything on the west, including Canada, and even over here on the Vancouver Island, awesome places to go see. Even, you know, I'd never live in California because of the politics of that state, but they have some definitely beautiful areas up here in Northern California. So whenever the United States collapses because of some kind of horrendous event in the future, and there's no longer states, an economy, or state boundaries, I might actually, you know, build a log cabin up here, because they got some pretty good sized trees. But anyway, I digress. Way off of trucking. So I will find a place, most likely sorry, my phone is reflecting so greatly in this. Most likely I'll be staying at a truck stop, maybe. It doesn't matter, because I have everything I need within my vehicle, as far as food, water, and food. The only thing a truck stop would give me is the option to buy maybe a snack or two. Otherwise, I stay at rest areas because they're really close to the highway. You'll notice that most truck stops are off the highway, and they're usually not very far. But as far as quick access to on and off the highway, rest areas are the way to go. At least for me. That's it for now. It's an exciting day. Nothing but driving, except for when I loaded this morning. And I like getting a solid 11 hours of driving, because I really crank out the miles. Yeah, it helps with everything. Time to charge the phone. It's 10:43. Sorry for the cough. I'm unloaded, but can you see? I'm at a facility that does not allow me to get on the flatbed of my truck. So instead of getting out to show you now, maybe you can kind of guess what's going to happen. What I'm going to show you here in a second. What could possibly be on the back of my trailer while I'm empty? It looks like I'm at the right place. At first, I was questioning it. You can see how you can see the top of that mountain. It's because I'm at the top of a mountain. These are all tops of mountains, and I had to drive up here. This will be interesting. Get back down. I have to put in the address and see how my GPS and everybody wants to take me. It's Yeah, it was, 35 to 40 miles an hour on the way up here on these windy roads. Very beautiful scenery, much better than a traffic jam, but it's, I don't know, I guess it's kind of frustrating in the sense that it's going to take so long to get down because of the speeds I have to go. But we'll see what happens. I'm not really nervous or anything about the hills with a load of lumber. It's just that this is definitely a backwoods lumber mill in West Virginia. Instead of bringing the wood to a populated place and then hauling it out of there once it's been milled, I think they just opened up their mill in the middle of the forest and just have everybody come to them. So I laid out some boards. I don't know if it's going to be enough. We'll see what happens. At first, I didn't know if I was in the right place because it's just lines of trucks. I thought I had to check in somewhere first, but I called, and they said the forklift driver should have all my paperwork. So we'll see how this goes. It's a little interesting. It appears I'm kind of going back the way I came. When I came up here, it was up this little tiny road here and turned in craziness to get up here. And then it looks like I'm going on 20. You can see how windy it is. So, I mean, I don't know if the 20 will be better than this tiny road I was on, 82. But, yeah, that's what I came up, 82. And it was basically from 19. It was basically following a river or a creek, whatever you want to call it. That's this little lake they have dammed up, the river, obviously, at the top of the mountains, which is, interesting. To have a lake at the top is beautiful. I can only imagine living on the edge of that lake. But anyway, let's see what this says I'm doing. So I'm basically going back the way I came because I was in Charlotte. Actually, I was much farther south here in Georgia and went out through Columbus, through Charlotte, up North Carolina, through West Virginia, and into West Virginia, and delivered, I want to say, up in this area. And then I had to travel down to where this was at so I can pick up this load. So now, I can't see through my phone and do things. So I've got 279 miles, 5 hours to get there. My clock will probably reset. Let's see. I have 6 hours and 53 minutes left in my day, or on my 11-hour clock, and it just went blurry. It was focused, but hey, you might as well change. What's the point of being focused when you can be out of focus? It could have something to do with the light that is going off of there. Okay, and I've got 6 hours and 42 minutes on my 14-hour clock. So really, I've only got 6 hours and 41 minutes left, minus however much time I spend here. So 5 hours. This product delivers tomorrow. I don't have to tarp it, which is interesting. Okay. I don't know what they're going to use this particular lumber for. But hey, okay. So the trick is now finding that I looked at this place. Excuse me. Usually they tell us if there's parking available. At this particular location, it says unknown, so we may have not delivered to this particular customer before. I did look them up on Google Maps. Little tiny place. They do have space out front where I could assume a truck could park, pending them opening up in the morning. We shall see. I'll probably give them a call on my way down there to see if parking is available in the front of their facility. If not, I'm going to have to, I really want to secure as close as possible so I can have the maximum amount of time tomorrow, because Charlotte, North Carolina on a Friday morning is very far away from St. Louis. I'm just saying. So the odds of me getting a load home are significantly diminished. We'll see what happens. There are mosquitoes outside. It's raining, and there is the mosquito the size of a small hummingbird outside my window, so it leaves me not liking this. Oh, great.